Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Yacc, yet another Crowcast where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I'll talk about it. This week's game is Metal Gear for the Nintendo Entertainment System. It's a stealth action game released in 1987, developed by Konami and published by Ultra Games. And also there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know. But first, a little backstory. Me and my brother had this game as kids. We didn't know a whole lot of English, but we still managed to get pretty far into the game. And I don't know why, but I felt like playing it this week. So as you start up the game, 3 soldiers parachute down into a jungle, and we're never heard from these guys ever again. They might be the hostages that are strewed out about the game, but I don't really know. And as you land, you get a call, and you press the select button and bring up the transceiver, and you get a talk from your boss, called Big Boss, from the frequency 12085. So he tells you to infiltrate Outer Heaven and destroy Metal Gear and save our beloved Grey Fox. And I think there's some typos in this game right off the bat, but that's how it is. So at the start of the game, I had rank 1. So the more ranks you get by beating bosses, you actually get a longer health bar and you can carry more ammo. So I headed left, and there's this soldier that stands by a jeep. And more typos. He feels asleep and then he falls asleep. So you can punch guards by pushing the B button. I think it's also the button that activates the current weapon that you have pressed or equipped. So I went down a couple of screens, and there's this funny thing where enemies can gang up on you really easy, and there's not really a good way to avoid them. So in my opinion, this game is not actually stealthy, even though it's I think it's even said in like the title that it's sort of like a espionage kind of thing. So I went down a couple of screens and ran from some dogs, and eventually I beat another soldier and got into a truck and got some binoculars. So if you use the binoculars, you can look one screen up or down so you can see what's on the those screens. But it also responds the enemies in that area, even in the screen that you're in. So the limits of the Nintendo, I guess. So if you manage to get a game over, you start out right at the beginning of the game. So this screen you will see a whole lot of times, but if you die, all the current items that you picked up, they're still in your inventory. And I also forgot to tell, but you have this item at the beginning of the game called the cigarettes, and they become very important in the end of the game. So I went down some more screens, dealt with more enemies, and I found a truck. So if you get into certain trucks, they start to move and get you to another location. So I got to another location, I explored a bit, and I found the key card 1, which will eventually give you or me the access to the base. So there is some more moving around with trucks and whatnot. And I found out that there's like a respawn glitch. So you have a health item in the game called rations, just like any other Metal Gear. So if you consume the rations, you will gain some health back. So there's a trick. You just go in and out of a truck which has a ration in it, and you more or less you stack up on it. And then I explored a bit and eventually found a gas mask, and I really liked the design of the vehicles in this hangar area. There's a lot of cool tank designs and jeeps, small little details. Did some more exploring and eventually found a handgun and a landmine. So the handgun is loud and will attract enemies, but you will eventually or later in the game get a silencer for the gun. So I took an elevator up and avoided some cameras, and I found ammo for the handgun. So same thing with rations, just go in and out of the room to restock on your ammo. So if I had a higher rank, I would have or been able to carry more ammo at this point. And of course, more hostages were saved. And then there was this part with, there's like a gas chamber you have to pass through. So you open the door with keycard 1 and you enter the room, and you will immediately take gas damage. You put on the gas mask, you walk to the end of the room, and you also have to change back to the keycard again. So Snake can only carry one item at a time, and you will take damage while switching. It's kind of stupid, but a little nitpicky thing. And then I saved another hostages, and I picked up some plastic explosives. So I guess they refer to Semtex or C4 in this case. I located the second key card, and as I said before, you can only equip like one card at a time. I think they did a clever thing in Metal Gear Solid 2 with the key cards. So if you have like one card, they stack on top of one another, so you will only need like card 5, and that will open up everything from 5 and below. But you know, it's the first of its kind, I guess. Then there's this puzzle with some electrocuted floor. So you need some remote control missiles in order to destroy the control panel, just like in Metal Gear Solid 1. So you need to find this missile launcher. I don't think it's called the Nikita missile launcher thingy, but that's what you need. So there will be some backtracking. And eventually found a silencer and a grenade launcher and a cardboard box. So I think this game introduced the concept of the cardboard box, which I think is kind of funny. Snake just hides in a box and walks around with it, and cameras for some reason doesn't care about him. So I think the cardboard box is one of the more funnier or more clever things to implement into a game. I like it, at least. And of course, finding and saving more hostages and eventually locate Grey Fox, and also finding a machine gun. So I might have got some information wrong, but you actually get information from one of the hostages on where Grey Fox is held. So this part is a little cryptic. You walk into a room and you need to be captured by the enemy. And in the cell or the block where you're put in, there's a breakable wall that you can punch down. So when you actually get to the Grey Fox, he will tell you about Metal Gear and what it actually is. It's a walk-in battle tank that has the capability of launching nukes. So Snake is told to find Dr. Petrovich in order to stop the thing from happening, and there is more wall punching. And then there is like a mini boss. I think it's just called a gunner. So you run past him and you pick up some grenades and you pump some guided missiles into him. You can also pick up the third card on the way. And once you beat this boss, you get rank 2, so more life, longer life bar, and you can carry more ammo. Eventually picked up the body armor, and I located the bomb suit and the enemy uniform, and these are used in certain areas of the game that will be coming up. Also, I found the card 4, so I went back to the original building. And eventually, and it took a long time, but using the missiles on the electrified floor in order to destroy the panel. So at the end of the game, you're supposed to destroy Metal Gear, right? But the Nintendo version doesn't have a Metal Gear. It has a big computer. I think the original one, the MXX version, had the Metal Gear. But this one just has a big computer that you have to explode with a lot of explosive bombs. And once you leave to the other room, you will have to fight Big Boss, because apparently your boss, Big Boss, was behind this all along. It's his other heaven and whatnot. So you fight him with all you got and you escape. So there's one thing you can do here. You can use the cigarettes and they will give you, I think, an extra 100 seconds to actually escape. And yeah, that's pretty much the end of the game right there. So gameplay. Go to Outer Heaven, save the hostages and the Grey Fox and destroy Metal Gear, but a computer in this case. Beat Big Boss and escape with your life intact. Control. The select button brings up the mode selects. You can select between equipment, weapons, and the transceiver. The D-pad moves the character around, and start button pauses, and the B button punches, basically. Graphics. I really like the outside, the jungles and stuff. I also love the vehicle designs, the trucks and the tanks and whatnot. As I said before, a lot of detail is put into those, and I like small details. Sound and music. Kazuki Maruoka made the soundtrack for this game, and it works. It gets the job done. I'm a little tired of the first track, the jungle track, because of all the game overs that I got, but it's one of those games, I guess. Easter eggs, secrets, and glitches. So just right out the bat, the box art is Kyle Reese from the Terminator. Just staple on there. I think it's from like one frame of the movie where he's leaning against some kind of construction. He has like a plasma rifle, but it's supposed to, I mean, it looks cool, but as a kid I never knew this blatant rip-off plagiarist thingy. So at the end of the game, you enter the room where the big computer is that you're supposed to destroy. If you do nothing and just press the D-pad to the right, you will teleport to the fight with Big Boss directly. And I don't think that there's like a timer on this as well. So there's like this trigger thing. So I watched TMR accidentally, the Mexican runner, trigger this during a gameplay session. He was like, whoa, what is going on? Kind of funny reaction. I had no idea about this. In conclusion, I wrote, try it at least. So, well, I didn't get that far this week. So most of the material that I'm talking about is from other YouTubers and watching their Let's Play. So I got a far bit in, but there's some frustrating parts to this game where if you game over, you start over from the very beginning of the game. And that's it. You keep items and weapons and whatnot. You have to restock on like ammo and rations and whatnot. So there's a lot of frustration dying on a place and all the enemies gang up on you and you can basically do nothing. So I know at like at the end of the game you have a longer life bar and you can carry more items and more ammo and stuff, but getting there is the hard part, and it's not always clear on where you need to go. But yeah, and also there are some spelling errors, and I think they are just funny, you can't really complain about it. As a kid, I didn't even know that much English. I didn't pay attention to all the spelling and whatnot, but it's a little funny detail about feeling asleep instead of falling asleep. But it's an okay game, and the Metal Gear genre I like. I love 2 and Metal Gear Solid 3, Guns of the Patriots, all the game that follows. And this game actually sets some standards. It introduced the cardboard box, and it's a meme in itself, like loving a cardboard box. I think it's a Snake meme at this point. So anyway, thanks for listening and or watching, and take care.